Hi guys, welcome to this third video on the update 1.2 of Grand Designer. This video will be centered around the shader tab and all the atmospheric render features that has been improved and added in this new release. So if I start from the basic planet and go to the shader tab, you will have a lot of new features. So first I will first change a bit the lighting, and I will also change a bit the amplitude and the tessellation to have something more decent on the geometry, like this. Okay. So one thing that has been added is the directional ambient occlusion. It will help to have nicer shadows, nicer local shadows. So it's here in the local shadows that you can increase the influence of the directional ambient occlusion. You can also, if you want to have that completely black, you can basically put the global shadow to 1, so it's completely black. You don't have any rebounds of light, and so here you can select the local shadow, and you can also tune that directional ambient occlusion in the other tab. You have directional ambient occlusion, local shadows. You can tune the low frequency and the medium frequency to emphasis on them, or just let them as it was. Okay, so this is really just sculpting more the lighting on the planet, so it's quite useful. You can also export that if you want to write your own shader that is using that. It's quite straight to use. It's basically 4 direction of for the light, and you just blend that together to have that kind of result. Okay, so let's go to the atmosphere that has been completely rewritten. So when I activate the atmosphere, the first thing you can notice is that you now have the shadow that is taken into account, so you can see the shape of the planet quite visible. So what can you tune here? You have first the rendering quality. It really depends on the performance of your computer. The higher the quality, the more demanding it is on the GPU. And so if you want what was there before, you can go back to 0, and it's the legacy mode. And the legacy mode is exactly what you had before the update 1.2. So you have no shadow, nothing. And here you have the shadows. So thickness is still the same. It's the thickness of the atmosphere. You have no dithering. You can see, I don't know how it will go with the video compression, but basically it adds some dithering to improve the quality. If you reduce the dithering, you will have some bending, so it's you can see that here. So it's cleaner, but it's quite ugly. So the dithering will basically mask the problem out. Then you can just modify the fog intensity, so it's the presence of the atmosphere on the surface of the planet. You have also the shadow, so if you put that to maximum, you will have very strong shadows in the atmosphere. You have also the atmosphere density, so it's global for the whole atmosphere, and you have the ground fog. The ground fog, which is more localized on the surface of the planet, so it can be pretty nice to have some smoky planet look. The next parameters are basically the same as before, so you have the sun brightness, the scattering, and the color of the atmosphere. The ground light scattering is when you want to have some features emitting lights and basically lighting the atmosphere. It's also working pretty well for lava lakes or pool or everything that is basically emissive in the water. So I will just add water like this. I will use the bake in 8. So when I do that, it's changed a lot because the 8 is balanced completely differently. So in the shader I have to reduce the ground fog to have something decent like this. Okay. So I will make also my water emissive like this. And if I want to have something visible on the scattering, I have to increase that. So you see over here the scattering, so it's lighting the atmosphere. So you can have very, very cool looking planet with that. So without scattering, with scattering. Okay, so I will remove that for now. No, the water, sorry, over here. You can also have the clouds render in different ways now. You have the clouds over here, so by default it's legacy. You can have known or atmospheric flat or atmospheric volumetric. The legacy is the cheapest one, but it looks pretty dull. The atmospheric flat is better, and the atmospheric volumetric is pretty cool, but it's quite expensive. So first I will just add a cloud layer like this. Okay, so I can change, of course, the covering, etc., like before. Smoothness. So if I go to the clouds over here, now I can change a lot of things. In the legacy mode, it's better to reduce the density to very low value, otherwise it's quite burnt, as you've seen. So you see it looks like it's painted on the ground, so it's not the best way to render clouds. Then you have the atmospheric flat, which is basically a kind of sphere on which they are projected. So you can increase the density to have more solid clouds. You can change the altitude where they are, and you can change the thickness. So it's kind of volumetric, but not really. But it just it's doing the job, so it's working pretty well. So you can change the thickness of the clouds over here, density of the clouds. Here you have the black and white points if you want to have fluffier clouds, or if you want to have super sharp clouds, like this. It really depends on what you want. and you still have the rotation speed for the clouds to rotate around the axis, or put to 0 if you want to have them stand still. You have also the occlusion density, which is basically will they cast shadow on the ground or not. And for the atmospheric flat cloud, you can also change the color of the clouds depending on the... It's just they are rendered like a separate atmosphere if you want. And then you have the latest mode, which is the atmospheric volumetric. They are pretty thick, so I will reduce that, increase the atmosphere, and increase the density. And you can of course change the occlusion to have something cooler. So it will look probably better with a smaller scale, so bigger clouds like this, and less details like this. So if you want to have pretty funky planets with very huge clouds like this, it can be pretty cool for some renders. Okay, let's go back to the options. So you can play with the density, you can play with the thickness, the altitude. Of course, when you are above a certain altitude, they are halfway into the outside of the atmosphere, so you don't see them. They are basically squished on that sphere. And then you have the sharpness of the clouds. You can tune that, and the cloud transmittance is, do you want to see the light under? So if I put the water, for instance, like this, it's very translucent here. So it's basically how much light will pass through the clouds. So you really have to experiment with that to have nice results. You have some samples in the new samples.1.2 file, like volumetric clouds here, this one, where you can change the position of the sun to have a very nice sunset or sunrise. So you can go in the clouds to have very nice renders too. And that one too, and I think I have some other ones like the ice planet with some pretty nice clouds too. It takes some time to fine-tune everything to have something nice, because depending on the option of the cloud quality you use, you will have completely different results, because it's completely different techniques. So that explains why it's so different. And it's very difficult to have something that will work exactly the same with the different rendering technique. So just experiment, look at the samples, and it will help you a lot.